Storm, still a severe storm, and they've reissued the severe thunderstorm warning as it turns to the south. And it's kind of dangerous when it does that because it kind of intensifies it. It does have a hook back here. Now it's kind of an elevated storm, so hopefully we don't have to worry about any tornado threat here, but it wants to do that. It's a supercell. It's a rotating thunderstorm for sure, and it's turning to the south down into Indianola. Let's go in for a closer look here. Here in the Des Moines area, just some heavy rain, maybe some small hail still coming down, but we did have some pretty large hail earlier. This is the hail track basically, and you can see where that large hail fell west of Grimes, and it got smaller toward Clive, but generally quarter-size hail was what we were reporting with that. And there's still some hail with that particular cell moving off to the south through Des Moines. So we got a new warning out till 6:45 here down to the south for Warren County, and we've also got this severe thunderstorm till 6:15 up to the northwest, and that could be affecting some areas. Ironically, a lot of these warnings are outside of the tornado or the severe thunderstorm watch that they put out, but we're still going to have that active weather going through the area here the next several hours, at least until midnight. It may not be severe that long, but we'll have thunderstorms around probably till midnight. You can see at midnight it'll get a little bit lighter, showers, scattered showers maybe into tomorrow morning. We've got more stormy weather in the forecast and heavy rain potential. I'll be talking about that in just a couple of minutes.
All right, Brad, thank you. Well, a Pella mom looking for some answers after a driver left her 3-year-old daughter inside a school van for 2.5 hours.
It happened in April. A driver for Pella Schools picked up Olivia Cole but forgot to drop her off. That's according to police documents. Olivia has special needs and has a high risk of choking. Now, she's supposed to have constant supervision while at school.
They changed their protocols. They told me, what was wrong with your other protocols? You couldn't even do them. I have no guarantee you'll keep my child safe. I don't want any other parent to go through what I did. Over there.
Tiffany's attorney says they have no plans to file a lawsuit. They just want answers and documentation about what happened and what's going to be different next school year. Local 5 reached out to the school district. They declined to do an interview, but the superintendent says they've spoken to Olivia's mom 6 different times, and they also gave her information about changes the district made.
Around 500,000 medical records breached at one of Iowa's larger eye clinics. Wolf Eye Clinic announced today it is notifying about 500,000 current and former patients of cyber attacks that may have accessed their personal information. According to the clinic, the attack happened in early February. They brought in IT specialists and forensic investigators to understand what happened, but they didn't learn the full scope until the end of May, and the investigation ended earlier this month.
We are aware that out there on what they call the dark web, the threat actors, the cyber criminals that gained access to our system, there is information out there. We are not aware of any misuse of that information at this point in time.
Wolf Eye Clinic says whoever attacked their systems demanded a ransom, but the clinic did not pay. Now, if you're a patient of Wolf, they are sending out letters later this week about what information of yours could have been exposed. You'll also be offered 12 months of free credit monitoring. Now, it all started with the opening of a bad file in an email. This morning, the president of DMACC sharing new information about the cyber attack that shut down classes and activity on all campuses across the state this month. Rob Denson telling us the attackers got in through a weakness in the system.
This happens to every company every night. There's just kind of a brute force attack where they slam this stuff against your system hoping to find a weakness. And we think in this case, somebody opened up a file.
Right now, DMACC tech workers don't think any student or faculty information was compromised in the attack. Attackers did demand a ransom. We don't know the amount. In-person classes were on hold for about a week. Online classes much longer than that, but all classes are back in session now.
A Creston man is missing. Law enforcement needs your help in finding him. This is 58-year-old Tim Fetcher. Well, the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation says he was last seen Sunday morning at a house in Creston. Fetcher is 5'11" and weighs about 185 pounds. He has multiple tattoos on each hand and arm. The Creston Police Department and the Union County Sheriff's Office are joining the search. Now, if you know anything where he may be, call the number on your screen. Meanwhile, an Iowa judge blocked a new state law that would have required a 24-hour waiting period before women could get abortions. Legislators passed the law as an amendment to another bill. The judge ruled it violated Iowa's single subject rule, which requires amendments and bills to relate to one another. Governor Reynolds says she'll work to appeal this decision, while the Iowa Democratic Party is, quote, grateful for the ruling.
A man accused of making bombs and placing them around Ankeny is now facing federal charges. Ankeny police arrested 46-year-old Chad Williams of Johnston. They say he made explosive devices and placed them around Southeast Waywind Drive in Ankeny on June 9th. The U.S. Attorney's Office of Iowa's Southern District says he faces 10 years in prison if convicted.
Coronavirus may have been in the United States earlier than we once thought. New research shining light on the virus and its activity among Americans. Local 5's Sabrina Ahmed reports.
Every day, it seems like we are learning new things about COVID-19, like this piece of information from a study of blood samples from 24,000 Americans showing evidence that COVID-19 was circulating in the U.S. earlier than we thought. 3 things to know tonight. The analysis isn't definitive. Some health experts are still skeptical, but federal health leaders continue to shift their timeline of when small numbers of COVID infections may have happened in the U.S. before the world ever became aware of this dangerous virus. The CDC is saying cases in December 2019 were likely sporadic and rare, but most likely happening here. The first official U.S. infection happened in Washington state on January 19th, 2020. In this newest study, it's not clear yet if those who had COVID-19 in December 2019 traveled out of the country before they got sick. I'm Sabrina Ahmed, Local 5 News. We are Iowa.
And the White House is now saying the country will not meet President Biden's goal of having 70% of Americans partially vaccinated by July 4th. New CDC data shows 80% of Americans over 65 have at least one dose, while 38% of those 18 to 29 have done the same. Experts say fewer vaccinations among those younger puts them at a greater risk for the most contagious Delta virus variant now reported in 47 states.
In the last 2 weeks, the prevalence of cases resulting from the Delta variant has doubled to just over 20%. We know our vaccines work against this variant.
Overall, coronavirus numbers are down at about 11,400 new cases each day. That's the lowest daily average since March 2020.
Well, Iowa State University has a long history of sports, with some programs more than a century old. But do you know how the Cyclones got their name in the late 1800s? Can you name the people behind the wins? One person on campus can, and he's retiring at the end of this month. Local 5's Lakin McGee sat down with the man everyone calls the Iowa State Athletics walking encyclopedia.
Football came in 1892.
Tom Crushell can tell you almost anything about ISU athletics.
Iowa State fielded its first intercollegiate team, which was a baseball squad.
He started working at ISU
in 1985.
and has seen championships, wins, and athletes come and go. But the one that stays with him is the history behind the school.
Yes, some of it gets stored in your head forever. Some of it you learn because people are coming to ask you about it all the time.
Does that happen?
Sure.
After 36 years of talking the history of sports with network and local journalists, staff, athletes, and alumni, Tom is ready to retire. But before he goes, he told me some of the history he has stored in his brain.
Iowa State's 1895 team, for example, went to Northwestern as a huge underdog and won the game. And the Chicago Tribune printed a story that says, Iowa Cyclone devastates Evanstontown. And that is where we get Cyclones.
From tragedies where 7 athletes died in a plane crash, to the history of Jack Trice Stadium as the only Division I Power 5 school with a football facility named after an African American.
Let's go State! Let's go State!
Tom is ready to put away his encyclopedia and pass on the knowledge to others.
You appreciate the legacy long after you stepped off the floor or the pitch or the field or the court.
Reporting on the Iowa State campus, Lakin McGee, Local 5 News, We Are Iowa.
Treasure trove of information there. Well, Tom started at ISU in 1985 as the head of the athletic communications, and he stayed in that role for 20 years. In 2013, he became program director for Cyclone TV. Well, we are celebrating Pride Month by taking a look at the meaning of each flag.
And just hours away from a vote and now a stall on a sweeping voting rights bill in Congress. What's stopping it from moving forward? We'll be right back. We are celebrating Pride all month here at Local 5, covering the origins of Pride Month, Stonewall, and the AIDS epidemic. Tonight in our 60 Seconds of Pride, a look at the meaning of pride flags.
You've seen the rainbow pride flag, but do you recognize this flag? This is the transgender flag, and this year it celebrates its 22nd birthday. Monica Helms, an openly transgender woman, designed this flag back in 1999. The stripes at the top and bottom represent the traditional color for baby boys. The pink stripes represent the traditional color for baby girls, and while the white stripe is for people who are intersex, transitioning, or gender neutral. They are also alternative trans flag designs, and this flag is known as the gender queer flag. The lavender stripe is a mix of blue and pink, colors traditionally associated with male and female, and the white stripe represents those who are gender neutral. Well, that dark green stripe is actually the inverse of lavender, and it represents third gender identities and anyone who identifies off the traditional gender spectrum. Monica Helms, who designed the original transgender flag, said it's symmetrical, so no matter which way you fly it, it is always correct, signifying us finding correctness in our lives. And that is your 60 Seconds of Pride.
Capital City Pride in Des Moines is spreading its events across 30 days as opposed to the typical 3-day weekend. Tonight's event is a cooking class with kitchen collage on Facebook Live. That starts in about 20 minutes. And tomorrow night is Broadway Sing-Along at Noche. That starts at 7. You can find more on these two events at capitalcitypride.org.
And a personal announcement this Pride Month from a professional football player. Raiders defensive end Carl Nassib came out yesterday, making him the NFL's only active openly gay player. You may remember Michael Sam came out before the 2014 draft, but only played for the Rams in the preseason. A handful of other players came out after their careers ended. You can watch Nassib's coming out video on our website, weareiowa.com.
Chief Meteorologist Brad Edwards joining us now. What an active last 30 minutes we just had.
Oh man, we've taken a lot of power hits here at the station with the thunderstorms around. We apologize to everyone out there, but we're going to keep going here because thunderstorms are not done yet. We've got more thunderstorms coming in from the northwest, and into next week it could be stormy. Your forecast is next.
We are Iowa's most accurate forecast.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yes.
Depending on where you live, you may have had a noisy afternoon. We had hail here at the studio. We've seen other people report it to us.
Yeah, we got the video now. It just came in. Here's the hail. It's in Norwalk, I believe, right?
Yeah, we are told this is Norwalk. And look at that's pretty. For the fact that we can see it this clearly, it's pretty substantial sized hail there.
Pretty large. It was about 1 inch in diameter in many areas, and there's still some large hail out there. Let's go to the radar and talk about all this active weather. The Des Moines area getting hit pretty hard with hail and heavy rain. We will take the rain. We'll take all of it. And this is the beginning of a stormy pattern, folks. We're going to see stormy weather right into maybe next week, at least not maybe this intensity, but still next week looks pretty good too. Showers and thunderstorms out there, and the heavier ones are producing some hail out there. A closer look at this one. This is the one that went right through the metro, and it did produce some 1 inch diameter hail. It's going into the Ackworth area, and Indianola, you probably has some very gusty winds there. There's been a kind of a rear flank downdraft there. So on the backside of this storm, we're getting a lot of wind gusts, and that strong wind even produced possibly a funnel cloud, but it's not really the right conditions for tornadoes, but there's a lot of wind with it, and that's coming through Indianola now, crossing Highway 65, and right in here is where we have that large hail core just crossing Highway 65 between Somerset and Indianola. That's where you could see some 1 inch diameter hail heading toward Ackworth, so batten down the hatches there. That's one of our severe thunderstorm warnings. We've got another row, although this is just rain up to the north. We will take the rain. Unfortunately, they're trying to play some baseball at Principal Park. Good luck, because it's going to be pretty active here the next couple of hours. We got 66 degrees, a thunderstorm in the area, east wind at 15 miles per hour, and I think we may catch a little bit of a break off and on tonight, but tomorrow it looks pretty good. We will be dry tomorrow and tomorrow evening. Late tomorrow night into Thursday and Friday, we have a chance of more thunderstorms, more hail and wind. And I could have maybe checked off the tornado there. Maybe there's a chance for a isolated tornado on Thursday especially. Now, temperatures have cooled down where the rain has fallen, but it hasn't where we've been dry. And that southerly wind will continue to try to feed these thunderstorms for a couple more hours. Once the sun sets, things should calm down a little bit. Now, temperatures tomorrow will be even warmer than today, upper 80s to lower 90s out there. We are going to keep it pretty toasty out there. The high pressure that brought us a record cool morning today in down toward Ottumwa at 47 degrees. That's pretty impressive. 47 there is moving away. Warm front moving in. That's going to bring us those thunderstorms, and also there's some lift in the atmosphere, a little disturbance going through. So things will be winding down after midnight. Still some showers possible through early tomorrow morning. Then the sun comes out in all its glory, and it will warm us up as we go through the day on Wednesday. But then it gets active again Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and some of the models are really giving us thunderstorm chances here. Look at all this activity right through Friday and Friday night. It could be very stormy, and that could lead to some very nice rainfall. So some of the models are saying 1 to 3 inches of rain, especially in the southern half of the state. Let's see if that pans out. For tonight, thunderstorms out there, especially before midnight. After that, we won't have much, and severe weather-wise probably till about 9 o'clock, and then it'll wind down. 89 for the high tomorrow, a mainly dry day tomorrow. Good chance on Thursday, Friday, 70% chance both days. And then we keep this afternoon chance because we're going to have a upper level low spinning over our heads, and we could pop up some showers and thunderstorms much of next week during the latter part of the day. We'll be right back after this.
You're watching Local 5 News. We are Iowa.
Tonight, Democrats' attempt to rewrite election laws has stalled in the Senate. Republicans blocking the measure just moments ago. More than a dozen states passed laws along party lines, putting new restrictions on voting. Things like limiting mail-in voting and ballot drop boxes, and tightening ID requirements. Most Democrats see the bill in Congress countering those measures, while Republicans view it as a federal takeover.
Solar power is about to light up Grinnell College. Trusted Energy of Storm Lake partnered with the college in building a 30-acre solar field. The college says the field will hold 10,000 panels and will generate enough power to meet 30% of the college's energy needs.
One of the things that's really great about renewable energy is the economic impact and the jobs that are created by wind, solar, ethanol, biodiesel. And so this is just, again, a way for Iowa to stay in the forefront of renewable energy. We're already going to hit 40% wind capacity of our electricity coming from wind. Solar is going to quickly come up and be able to help out in order to get more of our energy from renewable energy.
The project should be fully functional by November and should reduce the college's carbon footprint by 18%.
Well, after a year-long hiatus, the Des Moines Arts Festival starts this weekend. Organizers unloading materials today to get things set up in downtown Des Moines. You don't need to wear a mask if you go, and it is free to attend any of the days. Festival leaders are just excited to be back.
While the pandemic's still very real in our community, we're taking plenty of precautions, and it's with those precautions that we felt like we were in a good place to move forward and represent the festival to our community this year.
All right, enjoy live music, arts and crafts for the kids, and more at Papa John's Sculpture Park. The festival starts Friday. It runs through Sunday. We'll be right back. All right, thank you for joining us.
We'll see you again at 10.